Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, in this session, I'd like to talk about our, production journey in OpenStack Heat. And this is our agenda. And first of all, briefly, I would like to talk about, our background, who we are and what working for. And also, perhaps the part of you guys don't know about the Heat well. So before our production journey things, I'd like to talk about what are the Heat. And after that, we will talk about the 4 tips we found and we achieved. Okay. So our background. So who we are? I'm Kazu Shinohara, and this is our GU. And both of us working for the NTT Communications in Japan, Japanese telco. And we are both engaged in the software development teams. And we are working for the public cloud services. That is the OpenStack-based, the name is the enterprise cloud. And the enterprise cloud, this is our product. And now we are providing this enterprise cloud more than 8 regions all over the world. And of course, we are taking OpenStack native component like as Horizon, Nova, Cinder, Grants, Heat, etc. But other than that, one of the unique point of our product is that we are taking original component. For example, behalf of Neutron and Ironic, we are taking our own component. We developed that by ourselves to satisfy the enterprise users' use case. And before our story, so let's review Heat. So maybe as you know, Heat is at orchestration services in the OpenStack, and very easy to do the infrastructure as code in the OpenStack. And you can describe your cloud resources in YAML or JSON template. Very easy. For example, if you don't have the Heat, looking at that, the right-hand side, the green box, you can see. So this is a quite simple, system. The tenant topology, you have the network and the Nova instances and the volumes. But with that Heat, maybe you have to, contact with the Neutron and Nova and Cinder all. And also, you have to resolve the dependency among the multiple resources. For example, what I'm saying is that if you want to create instances, you have to specify which network that your instance connects to, right? So you have to resolve that kind of the order to create each resources. But if you have the Heat, the Heat gonna be a kind of a single interfaces for you. You don't need to contact or talk to each Neutron, Nova, and Cinder. We have that. You can talk with only Heat. And how you can communicate with Heat is that template. That's a text template. We are calling the HOT. And that's a really simple syntax, and you can describe what you want to create. This is a really good point of Heat. And also, rather than just provisioning your resources, I just picked up my favorite function of Heat. And for example, you have the chance, maybe more than 50 or 60 Nova instances, really large scale tenant, and you have to, if you want to make that by Heat, you have to describe more than 50 or 60 Novas in the text format. But really, that's annoying for you guys, right? So in that case, I do recommend to take a resource group. So you can multiply any resource what you want. And the Heat automatically creates the requested the number of resources what you want. And the second powerful function is that nested template. So perhaps you might have the really large template. And that's really difficult to manage, right? But if you are taking the nested template function, you can split out your very, very large template into the smaller sub-templates. It's really easy to manage. It's really powerful. And the third one is the software config. So far, I'm just talking about how to create your OpenStack resources. But if you are going to take a software config function, you can get into the middleware and the OSware configuration side also. And you can do the integration with shell scripts, and Ansible or Chef, Puppet, any provisioning tool. For detail, you can get information from that URL. And hopefully, I will share this slide pack later on. And this is I want to emphasize how much Heat is a really important project in the OpenStack community. Yeah. So as far as I know, the several browser projects taking Heat internally, the Mistral, Triple, and the Magnum, and the Sahara. Maybe more. Just I don't know that. And this is the announcement. So for more detail, if you want to know the Heat more, I do recommend to check out the other session that happened in this summit. Unfortunately, 2 of them already over, but those sessions by the recording, he's the current PTR of Heat. Especially the onboarding session is really helpful if you want to know what is the Heat of the internal logic of Heat. And he promised he will upload it to YouTube. So maybe after sometimes you can see that on YouTube. Okay, so far I'm just emphasizing how much Heat is really important, useful, and great, and really helpful for other OpenStack component too. And I think if you will make a better Heat, maybe better Heat will deliver better your OpenStack life. That is our opinion. Okay, so let's see our production journey. So, yeah.
Hello. And here, let me introduce our experience in deploying our enterprise cloud Heat. And at the beginning, our sales team asked us to prepare an orchestration tool for our enterprise cloud. And as an OpenStack developer, my first idea is the Heat. But as you know, by default, Heat supports only OpenStack resources. But we take some our original resources. So if users use our Heat to deploy to provision such a system with a bare metal server, and they needed to first use the Heat to provision the network and the volume, and then call the bare metal server API to build a bare metal server. That's not very convenient, and so we are wondering how to solve this problem. And how could we solve this? Luckily, Heat provides such resource plugging feature in Heat, and using this feature, we can make a solution. And in fact, in Heat, the various resource support is just based on the resource plugins. For example, there's Nova resource plugin, Cinder resource plugin, Swift resource plugin, and in a resource plugin, there's some detailed information about this resource. For example, there's some resource methods for the actions, and there's some response parameters to get the response. And adding a new resource just equal to adding a new resource plugins. And so for more information, you can check this wiki page of Heat plugins. And then the question is how to make a detailed resource plugin. And first, of course, we need to make a new resource plugin page. And you can put the page anywhere, but you need to define the location of this page in heatconf by the keyword plugin directories. And there are 3 steps after creating this page. First, we need to create a new resource class. But this class should be inherited from the base resource class, Heat engine resource.resource class. And after that, you need to define the official name for this new resource plugin class. For our case, it's ECL bare metal double clone server. And finally, you need to make a mapping between the resource plugin and the class. And here I will introduce the detailed information in this resource plugin class. Basically, there are 3 paths. First is the properties, and then attributes, and then finally the actions. First, the property. What's a property? Property just to write down the request parameters this resource will use during the action during the request, and the head will send these parameters as the request body to the APIs. And next was the attributes. Attribute is used to collect the information get from the response, such as for our bare metal server, such as admin password. Of course, we need to get it from the bare metal server API. And finally, it's actions. The action is just some method used to do the change with from the head to the APIs, such handle create to create a new bare metal server, and handle delete it, and some other similar actions. So after we made a new resource plugin, but that's not enough. The head needs a client plugin to make interactive, to make some API calls, and looking at the head system. For example, the Nova. The Nova has Nova plugin, and it also has a Nova client plugin. And the Cinder has Cinder client plugin. So for our bare metal server resource plugin, we need another corresponding bare metal server client plugin. So how to create this client plugin is just similar to create a resource plugin. We need to create a new client plugin by inherit from the client plugin base class. And inside it, we need to add the API call methods, such as get server, get flavor, get KPI, and blah, blah. And we face the second problem is just we are suffering from the stack creation field error. And maybe you have the same experience that annoying stack creation field happens. And it's a kind of waste of time, and also for us, because we are the public cloud providers, building error will be happen. That's very annoying because sometimes we create 3 Nova server, and the first one may be created successfully, but the second one failed. But the first one started to building, and the customer will compensate that because they didn't use the first one. So another problem is sometimes the stack creation field happen, but we don't know what's wrong with it. There are some possible reasons. First, improper parameter setting in template, and the resource may be out of quarter, and so sometimes you make some typos in the resource type name. And luckily, it provides some feature to handle this resource create failure. And that there are constraint and validations. And first, we create a template and send the template to the head, and the head will do the constraint and the validation. If there's some error happens, the constraint and validation mechanism will raise an exception. Otherwise, the resource creation will be do and make some stacks. And let me briefly introduce what the constraint and validation. First part is the constraint. What is a constraint? Constraint and briefly can do this work that constraint a property on its type, length, range, or allowed values, allowed patterns. For example, allowed values, you can set it as true or false. If you input an integer, it will be failed. And allowed patterns, maybe sometimes you just need to input the UUID. And UUID have the fixed pattern, and you can set it in constraint. And if you set some other string, it will be failed. And how to add the constraint? That it includes 2 steps. First, we need to define a constraint. And everywhere can be OK, I guess. Normally, we will define in the constraint file, and then you need to use the constraint in the property schema. And in property schema, we usually define the properties. And for example, here we define a name, and in the name, the value side, there's a keyword named the constraints. In this constraint, we use the method we just defined as a constraint. And the second part about the validation. So what's the validation, and how can it contribute to the self-check value? And in briefly, for our part, for our enterprise cloud part, there are three kinds of validations. The first one and the third one is included in the original heat, and we add the original one as the second one, a quota validation. Let me introduce from the first one. The first one, the property validation, is just similar to the constraint, and it will do some validation on the properties, but without any fixed format. You can do whatever you do. And the second one, quota validation, it will check the quota if just enough quota in the service side, and then if there are not enough quota, it will raise an exception. And the third one, the template validation, it will just check the given result type and set other things are correct or not. If there are typos there, it will raise an exception. And how to implement the validations? In the base resource plugin class, there is such a method named the validate method. And for our own resource plugin, we inherit from the base resource class, so we can override the validate method to the new ones, and then we can use the validations. Okay, my part is done, and now let's our class to introduce the following part.
Okay, thanks, Kier. Yeah, sorry. The last challenge for us is that how to make heat template more easily. So yeah, we introduce heat, and the customer maybe hopefully can make the tenant easily. But having said that, maybe another challenge is there. What we faced is that first of all, we are public cloud service provider, and we have lots kind of customer, and a part of customer don't have any technical background, let's say. So sometimes they're having a complaint, we cannot describe the heat template well from scratch. Is there any sample template? Yeah, but we cannot cover all type of the template what customer want, right? And also that the complexity, right? Even the, for example, engineering expert, maybe it's quite tough to make a large scale, stack template, because there are lots of parameters and also the dependency among the resources. So how we could make it is that we made a drag and drop template generator as a Horizon plugin. As you can see, so our customer can easily just drag and drop what they want to the canvas, right? And then connect each resources if we want to connect something, For example, yeah, as I told you earlier, the Nova instance need to connect network, right? If we want to take it from outside. And what we have to do is just, draw the line from the, that network to your Nova instances. And that's really works well, and we got lots of positive comments from our customer. Maybe whether that, maybe our even we started heat in our public cloud, maybe a lot of customers couldn't take our heat. And yeah, because we got lots of positive comment for this function, and we decided to contribute this function to OpenStack upstream. And let me introduce a new heat family repo, and the name is heat dashboard. And he just popped up, right? I don't mean he's not burning, right? And we are targeting Queen 2 release, And maybe this heat dashboard plugin will be able to deliver a better heat drive for all of the OpenStack heat users. And also, not only drag and drop template generator, we are split out the existing Horizon code for heat. I mean, the heat dashboard, if we will make it, the heat dashboard will take over all of the Horizon function for heat. Mean that if in the future, if you want to install heat and you want the graphical interfaces on top of the Horizon, so you must have to install heat dashboard also too. Yeah, we will follow up that. Of course, maybe some users having an impact. And let me briefly introduce the key features here. There are three. So first one is that pull-down menu for the selectable parameters. What I'm saying that, for example, you are going to make a Nova instances. Of course, you have to specify image or flavors. But sometimes human beings make a mistake. Specify the wrong the parameters. To avoid that, we implement the pull-down menu, right? After that, after this slide, I'm going to have the demo in front of you guys, so maybe you can easily understand what I'm saying now. And next one is the connectors. I already told you guys again and again, so let me skip. But you can, describe the resource dependency between resources, and also without the drawing the line between the resources, you can explicitly set depends on syntax. And draft management. Yeah, I think if you're going to make a really, really large template, perhaps you have to take a lunch break. This template generator has a draft management. What I mean, you can stop your work in the middle and go to the lunch break, and after come back, you can resume your drawing task. And also now the Queen 2 release, we will support those really fundamental resource types. Those Nova server, Cinder, Boolean, blah blah blah, neutron net, like that. And one of the particular things is that OS heat resource group. That is, in the beginning of this presentation, I told you guys that's a really powerful function to multiply your resources what you want. So yeah, I think the supported resource is a bit few, but I hope this function can work for the larger size stack also. Okay, so I will demonstrate demo. I already made a video. Hopefully it works. Okay, so this is the dev stack on my laptop, and I already enable heat dashboard. And we have the template generator panel here. And taking time to load, because in the backend, the template generator trying to retrieve all of necessary information for the pull-down menu, right? So by doing that, you can select your preferable image ID, for example. And I will make a really simple system topology here, just one Nova server and also the network and subnet. And I deploy the 3. And I will just type the parameters, the minimum parameters. And first, I will set up the network. I save and click on the edit button and the connect button. And then you can draw the line, specify the relationship between the two resources, because server need to refer the network, the subnet too, right? And I will going to touch the subnet configuration and set a name and enable DHCP just in case, and specify 4.6 IP version. And that is a free format, but yeah, have to be inside the format. And 192.168.1.0/24. And if you want to see the more properties, you have to enable show more properties option, and you can specify the gateway address and allocation pool for DHCP services. The reason why we hide the a part of properties in this model is that we want to keep the simplicity for the customers. So that's why initially what you can see is really limited. But don't worry about that. You can enable show more properties option. And in the end, I will touch the Nova servers. And yes, we can select flavors, and we can select image. Yes, and availability zone. And looking at the network tab, you already see the get resource net one that I already created before. I already set before. But just in case, I will set the dependency against subnet, because without subnet creation, the Nova instance cannot blow up correctly, I think. Yes, and we set up the all of 3. And in the end, I have to specify the template version. And I selected that one. And then click the generate template button. And finally, we can see the template. That's really easy to create, I think. Rather than writing template from scratch manually, it's really quite easy. And you can avoid any misconfiguration, hopefully. And you can download it to your local. And also, right now we are developing now, so we cannot move forward. But you can jump into the stack creation page too. And these are draft management function. Then you can save your draft like that. Once I saved it, and once I will clean up the campus, and after lunch break, I'm coming back, and we can load the already saved your draft from the menu. These campus information stored in your browser's local storage. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. Okay, my demonstration is that's it. Okay, because this is an offshore project of OpenStack, and we already created the offshore repository on top of the git.openstack.org. And also, we already supported DevStack running. So that's easy to run it. Just add one line in your local.conf. So please enable plugin, hit dashboard, and the following URL. That's quite easy. Don't forget hit self. That's it. And I took this local.conf file and then made a demonstration video. So it does work even now. And your feedback will be really, really appreciated, because this hit dashboard project is a really early stage, and we need lots of feedback from you guys. So please try your environment, and please give us the feedback if you like. And yeah, of course, in the Launchpad, you can see the hit dashboard pages. You can raise a bug or blueprint, anything else you like. And also, I always in IRC. My time zone is at UTC +9 because I'm in Japan. But anytime you can ping me. Yeah, as much as possible, I will try to communicate with you guys. And also, the mailing list also available. Please contact us. And in the end, I would like to say the special thanks for the community members. The Rickren, he's a PTR of HIT, and Thomas, he also the core of HIT team. And Ying, thank you very much for your kind support for us. Yeah, without the Horizon team's cooperation, maybe we couldn't make it. And Rob, and also the Emotoki Akihiro, and also the Andreas from infrastructure team, because it's the first time to set up the new project by myself. So I didn't know that so much things, how to create the new project in the OpenStack. But the infra team also help us out very well. Okay, that's it. So if you guys have any question, okay, come on.
What's your expected timeline on adding resources like autoscan and
Software config?
And
Autoscaling by a template generator? Okay, that's a really good question and really tough to answer right now. But of course, we try as much as possible. HIT has, so software config is a key feature of HIT. So definitely we have to support it. But to other queens, we want to limit our scope of work because this is a really initial stage. But after that, maybe a post queens, I want to try to increase the number of resource types. But then maybe we have to triage. Maybe multiple requests coming to me or us that we have to prioritize which resource type should be supported in advance. So if you're going to yell it out, in the mailing list or IRC channel or PTG next, yeah, of course, definitely I will pick up that as a top priority. Anything else?
For parameters in the drag-and-drop UI, is there going to support that?
Sorry, what's that?
For custom parameters to be specified.
You mean to say that your question is that?
So for instance, the instance that you dragged on, you picked from the boot from a particular image that already existed. In our case, we need the way to specify which image at creation time.
Okay.
Is there any plan to support?
You mean to say that does we support the free format or things to specify your customized one? I see. Okay, that's a really good use case, I think, but we never knew that. So if you will make a blueprint or something, or just email to us, definitely I will pick up that. Yes. Sorry, we also maybe our use case is really limited because we are public cloud service providers. So perhaps that is not much to your use case. But I think this is the community's software. Definitely, we should pick up multiple use cases all over the world, of course. Thank you very much for your opinion. Anything else?
Can it also be made backwards? Like if we upload the template and it shows you the draft?
I see. Unfortunately, the upstream one does not support it, but in our production, our enterprise cloud does support it. So of course, I will import that function to this. But not sure by when, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, I know that, yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay. What time now? Oh, 23. Okay. Okay, let's wrap up this presentation. I think through the working for the Hit dashboard contribution, I think I got a lot of helps from the community. And every day, everybody in the OpenStack community guys are saying, the OpenStack is a really open community. But until the time I started to work for the Hit dashboard, I couldn't understand well. But in fact, once I've started to have the contribution work, I know very well what open, how much open the OpenStack community is. And I really appreciate OpenStack community members. And also, I do recommend you guys, if you guys have any idea to make the OpenStack, not only Hit, OpenStack cell, much better, I do recommend to try it. I think don't be shy, don't hesitate. That's a really good opportunity, and there's a lot of chance. So I do recommend to, you guys will try it. Okay, that is my message. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.